Well, for many people, myself included, the warning signs are clear. One side of the head begins to pound. It's a stabbing pain. Then comes the blurry vision, then the nausea.
You have developed a full-blown migraine, and it can be downright debilitating, stopping you cold in your tracks. The National Headache Foundation reports more than 37 million Americans suffer from migraines. Women are affected 3 times more often than men. The foundation reports migraines are most common between the ages of 15 and 55, and up to 80% of those who suffer from migraines have a family history of them. Now, if you get migraines, you know you would do just about anything for a little relief.
Oh yeah, and what if getting relief was as easy as pushing a button? Well, it may be. There's a new, unique treatment now being tested. It's a small device that may be a dream come true for the many who suffer from migraines.
All the beautiful babies here are hers.
For Alice Jowers, horses are a big part of her life. The 60-year-old cares for them on a large farm.
Headaches were my closest companion.
But because of chronic debilitating migraine headaches, not even these gentle animals could bring her peace.
It is a stabbing, searing. It's as if someone takes a hot poker and just sticks it right through your temple into your eye. And then the wires run up my spine.
Desperation drove her to join a medical study for a unique treatment. 2 years ago, surgeons implanted a device on Jowers' skull under the skin. When she feels symptoms of a headache, she activates a trigger using a magnet on a small control box implanted on her lower back. That sends an electric pulse along wires to a specific nerve in her brain. For many headache sufferers, available medications, injections, and even psychotherapies simply aren't effective.
This is on number 6.
Jowers is one of 46 patients taking part in the long-term electronic pulse study. Dr. Billy Huh is lead researcher. He says for some of his patients, the results were life-changing.
That's the most important thing. And they were able to have a family, enjoy life, basically, without suffering from this debilitating disease.
Researchers have found the treatment doesn't work for everyone, and there are complications. The device can cause infection, and in some cases, the electrodes can move around the skull. But Jowers doesn't care. For her, any relief is an improvement.
It hasn't been the magic bullet, but it's helped.
And critics warn the study depends on a small sample group. There are short-term medical uses for this technology already available. But this is the first promising long-term migraine treatment of its kind.
Now, there are migraines and there are other types of headaches. There is a difference between all of them. As a matter of fact, Dr. Richard Bird, a neurologist with Peninsula Regional Medical Center, joined us to help us understand those differences. Dr. Bird says migraine is somehow related to the hormones, which is probably why it affects more women than men, although plenty of men get them as well. Dr. Bird says migraines tend to follow the menstrual cycle, and it tends to go away at menopause. Dr. Bird also says you can still have a migraine even if you don't have a headache. Now, some people may get migraine auras that affect their vision. They can be flickering lights, spots, or lines that look something like this. Doctors say auras can last up to an hour and may or may not be followed by a headache. Vertigo can also be common with migraine. It can cause dizziness, double vision, loss of vision, even balance problems. Yawning can be another sign of an impending migraine, especially if you're yawning excessively and every few minutes. Nausea or vomiting can be other signs of a migraine. A study by the National Headache Foundation showed people with frequent migraine-related nausea had more severe pain with their migraine than those with little or no nausea. There's also something called headache hangover. Now, this comes on after the migraine has passed. Fatigue, trouble concentrating, weakness, loss of energy can all be part of the headache hangover. Okay, so we have covered migraines. Let's get along to the other types of headaches.
Yeah, perhaps you've had your share of tension headaches. PRMC's Dr. Bird says feelings of tightness and pressure are common with tension headaches, as well as complaints of blurred vision. Tension headaches are also usually bilateral. There are also sinus headaches, which can come with congestion, puffy eyes, and postnasal drip. You might even run a fever if you have a sinus headache. There's also a cluster headache, which Dr. Bird says impacts a lot of middle-aged men. This is a one-sided headache, usually in the eye and face. Tearing and nasal congestion are common with cluster headaches, and they can last for several hours and keep coming back. Now, if you suffer from any of these symptoms or headaches, it's best to talk with your doctor to find out what treatment options are best for you. And if you'd like to read more about migraines or these other types of headaches, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab.
I know you've fought with migraines for a long time.
I have, yeah.
And I guess this is reassuring to me to know that I'm not absolutely nuts with these other migraines. Well, we've covered your head and we've covered your health. Now we're going to talk about your hands and your health. Up next on Delmarva Life, the length of certain fingers may have been caused by imbalances before you were born. We're going to tell you what that could mean for your risk of disease.
And your nails can also say a lot about your health. From the color to the shape, we find out what your nails say about you.
A little bit later on, the weather's getting cooler, and it's the perfect time to snuggle up on the couch with your favorite comfort food. We're in the kitchen putting together 2 delicious ideas. But first, we just learned about migraines and other headaches. Dr. Oz has more on how we can get some pain relief in a pinch.
Headaches can come on at the most inopportune times. But you know what? There's something you can do in a pinch to get rid of the pain. And I'm not talking about medications, which can sometimes have side effects. I'm talking about something very, very different. I want you to make an L with your hand like this. See this area here that looks like it's webbed? Grab that mound of flesh between your thumb and index finger and press lightly. Slowly increase the pressure. You don't want it to hurt. Try to hold it for about 30 seconds and then switch over to the other hand. You can do this 3 or 4 times in a row. You just performed acupressure on yourself. Applying pressure along invisible meridians that flow through the body can help rebalance energy called qi. Amazingly, activating this pressure point in your hand can readjust the energy all the way up to your head.